Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Podcast, your favorite place for slow and clear English listening practice. I am Emma.
And I am Leo. So happy to be here with you again today. If you are new to our channel, welcome to the family. We are really glad you found us.
Today, we have a very exciting episode planned for you. We are going to talk about everyday English conversations. The kind of real, natural phrases that people use from the moment they wake up in the morning to the moment they go to bed at night.
And the best part is that none of these phrases are complicated. They are simple, they are short, and they are incredibly useful in real daily life situations.
Exactly. So whether you are a complete beginner or someone who already knows a little English and wants to sound more natural, this episode is going to be very helpful for you.
We always say that the secret to speaking English confidently is not memorizing grammar rules from a textbook. It is listening to real conversations and then practicing the phrases you hear.
That is so true. And that is exactly what we do here every single episode. We bring you real English the way people actually speak it. Not formal, not textbook style. Just natural, friendly, everyday English.
All right, let us get started. Emma, I want to begin with something that every single person does every single morning. Greeting people when they wake up.
Oh yes, morning greetings. So Leo, tell me, when you wake up in the morning and you see your family, what is the very first thing you say?
Honestly, I just say good morning with a big smile. It is simple, it is warm, and it immediately makes the people around me feel good.
I love that. And most of the time, good morning is absolutely perfect. But here's something interesting. Sometimes when I'm really tired, I do not say the full good morning. I just say morning in a very quiet, sleepy voice.
That is so relatable. Morning is just a shorter, more casual version of good morning. You use it with people you're already comfortable with, like your family or your close friends.
Right. But here's the key lesson for today. The way you greet someone depends entirely on who that person is. So for example, if I'm greeting my best friend at work, I might say, "Hey, what's up?" Very casual, very relaxed.
But if I'm walking into the office and I see my manager, I would never say, "Hey, what's up?" Instead, I would say, "Good morning, Mr. Harris." Very polite, very professional.
And that one small change makes a huge difference. Same situation, same time of day, but two completely different phrases because the relationship is different.
That is something many English learners do not think about at first. They learn one phrase and use it for everyone. But English, just like any language, changes depending on context.
Always ask yourself, who am I talking to and what is our relationship? That question will guide you to the right phrase every single time. Now, after the morning greetings, what usually comes next in your day, Leo?
Coffee. Absolutely coffee. I cannot function in the morning without it. And every morning I ask the same question at home. Did you make the coffee yet?
I ask that exact same question every single day. And if the answer is no, I immediately say, I'm going to make some right now. These are such natural phrases that people use at home every morning.
And if you want to ask about breakfast, a very common question is, what are we having for breakfast today? You can use that with anyone you live with.
Perfect. Now let us leave the house and go somewhere that is fantastic for practicing English, the coffee shop. Leo, how do you place your order when you walk up to the counter?
I always try to be polite, so I say, "Hello, could I please have a large latte?" The phrase, "could I please have," is so important because it sounds friendly and respectful at the same time.
Could I please have? That is a phrase our listeners should absolutely memorize. You can use it to order anything, anywhere. Could I please have a sandwich? Could I please have a glass of water? It works every time.
But sometimes I'm in a big rush and I need to keep things very short. In that case, I just say, "Hi, one black coffee to go, please." quick, direct, and still polite because of that please at the end.
And to go is a very important phrase for anyone who is learning English. It means you want your drink in a cup you can take outside with you. You are not going to sit down inside the shop.
And the opposite is to stay. So if you want to sit at a table inside the coffee shop, you tell the barista to stay, please. Very simple, very easy to remember.
Great! So to go means take away, and to stay means sitting inside. Now, when it is time to pay, the cashier will almost always ask you one specific question. Leo, do you know what it is?
Yes, they say, will that be cash or card? You will hear that question in almost every shop, cafe, and restaurant in any English-speaking country.
And your answer is usually very short. You just say, card please, and tap your phone or your card on the machine. Or if you are paying with cash, you say, cash please, and hand over the money.
But sometimes technology fails us. I have been in situations where the card machine completely stops working, and in those moments you need to know what to say.
Exactly. If the machine is not working, you can say, can I try again? Or you can ask, do you take cash? Those two short questions can save you from a very awkward and stressful moment.
Always good to have a backup. Now let us move outside and talk about getting to work or school, the daily commute. Emma, how do you usually travel in the mornings?
I take the bus most days, and sometimes I am not sure about the schedule. So if I am standing at the bus stop and I need information, I turn to the person next to me and I say, excuse me, do you know what time the next bus arrives?
Excuse me. Such a small phrase, but so powerful. It is the most respectful way to get a stranger's attention in any public place. You should always start with excuse me before asking someone you do not know a question.
People respond so much better when you start with excuse me. It shows that you have good manners and that you respect their time and their space.
And if traffic is terrible and you are running late for a meeting or a class, the most important thing you can do is call ahead and let someone know. What do you say in that situation, Emma?
I keep it short and clear. I say, hi, I am so sorry, but I am stuck in traffic. I'll be about 10 minutes late. That message explains the problem and tells the person exactly how long they need to wait.
Perfect. It is honest, it is polite, and it shows the other person that you respect their time. English speakers really appreciate that kind of clear and direct communication.
It is always much better to call ahead than to just show up late without saying anything. Okay, so now we have arrived at work. You walk into the office and you see your colleagues. What do you say?
The most common question between coworkers is definitely, how are you? Or how's it going? Both phrases mean the same thing and both are completely natural in a workplace setting.
I personally use how's it going a lot with the people I know well at work. It feels warm and friendly without being too formal or too casual.
And what is the usual answer? Do people give a long explanation of their morning?
Absolutely not. The standard response is just, good thanks, how about you? It's short, it's friendly, and it keeps things moving. You do not need to tell your coworker about everything that happened to you that morning.
Good thanks, how about you? That's a phrase every English learner should practice until it feels completely automatic, because you'll use it almost every single day.
And notice how it ends with, how about you? That little question at the end passes the conversation back to the other person. It's polite and it keeps the dialogue going naturally.
Now, what if you're having a genuinely tough morning? Can you tell a coworker that you are not feeling great?
It depends on how close you are with that person. If it's a good friend at work, you can say, to be honest, I'm a bit tired today. That phrase, to be honest, signals that you are sharing a real feeling with them.
To be honest is a wonderful expression. It builds a sense of trust and warmth between two people. You are letting them know that you are being genuine with them. not just giving the automatic good thanks response.
Exactly. And sometimes that kind of honest connection is really valuable, especially with people you work with closely every day. All right, let us talk about one of my absolute favorite parts of the workday, lunch break.
Mine too. And without fail, every single day at around 12 o'clock, someone in the office asks, "Where should we go for lunch today?" It is the most reliable question in any workplace.
And if you have a suggestion, you can use one of the most useful structures in casual English conversation. How about? So you say, how about we try that new Italian place today? Or how about we just grab some sandwiches and eat in the park?
How about is fantastic because it's friendly and it doesn't sound bossy or demanding. You're making a suggestion, not giving an order, and people respond really well to that.
You can use how about in so many different situations. How about we go for a walk this evening? How about we watch a film tonight? How about we try a new recipe this weekend? It is endlessly flexible.
Great tip for our listeners. Learn the structure how about and then practice filling in the rest with different ideas. After lunch, it is back to work. And sometimes you need help from a colleague with a task or a project.
And asking for help in English is all about being polite without sounding weak or demanding. My favorite phrase for this is, could you help me with this when you have a minute?
When you have a minute, that is the part that makes all the difference. It tells the other person that you are not putting pressure on them. You are giving them the freedom to help you when they are ready.
And if they are busy, a completely natural and polite response is, I'm a bit tied up right now, but I can help you after 3. That's not rude at all. It's honest and respectful.
A bit tied up is a great expression. It means I am busy or occupied at this moment. You will hear it a lot in professional settings. It sounds much more natural than just saying I am busy.
Good one. Now let us fast forward to the end of the workday, that wonderful moment when you can finally pack up and go home. Leo, what do you say to your team as you are leaving?
To the whole team, I usually say, have a good evening, everyone. It's warm, it's professional, and it leaves people feeling good as they end their day.
And to a very close work friend, you might say something more casual like, see you tomorrow or catch you later.
Catch you later is such a great expression. It's very casual slang that means see you soon. Younger people use it a lot, and it gives the conversation a very friendly, relaxed energy.
Now you are finally home after a long day, and the big question every evening is, what are we doing about dinner? Leo, how do you handle that conversation at home?
I ask a simple question that gives 2 clear options. I say, do you want to cook tonight or should we just order something? It makes the decision easy because you're not asking an open-ended question. You are offering a choice.
And if you decide to cook, you might open the fridge, look inside and say, we have some chicken and vegetables. We can make a stir fry. Short, practical, and everyone understands the plan immediately.
We can make plus whatever ingredient you have. It's such a useful structure for suggesting a meal without making it sound complicated or formal.
After dinner comes my favorite part of the day, relaxing time. And evening conversations are really fun because people talk about what they are watching, what they are reading, or what they are looking forward to.
I love talking about the series I'm currently watching. I always tell friends I'm watching such an interesting show right now, and immediately they ask, oh really, what is it about?
And you describe it simply. You say something like, it's a story about a doctor who solves crimes in a small town. Simple present tense sentences are perfect for describing the plot of a show or a book.
No complicated vocabulary needed. Just clear, simple sentences in the present tense.
That is what makes you sound natural and fluent in casual conversation. And at the moment is a phrase I love using in these conversations. Instead of saying, I am reading a book right now, you can say, I'm reading a really fascinating book at the moment. It sounds more natural.
At the moment means the same as right now, but it flows more smoothly in conversation. Small variations like that are what make your English sound truly fluent over time.
Okay, let us talk about something that comes up every single week without fail: weekend plans. On Thursday and Friday afternoons, everyone is asking the same question.
Do you have any plans for the weekend? That is the question. You'll hear it everywhere. In the office, at school, at the gym, at the supermarket. It is one of the most common conversation starters in the English language.
And if you do not have specific plans yet, a perfectly natural answer is not much, just planning to relax at home. How about you? You give a casual answer, and then you return the question.
But if you have something exciting planned, use the phrase, I am going to. For example, I am going to visit my cousins in the countryside this weekend. Or, I am going to a concert on Saturday night. I cannot wait.
Right, so I am going to means the plan is confirmed. I might go means you are still unsure.
Great lesson today. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.